The day we say goodbye to 0W-20 and say hello to 5W-30.
I am now running 5W-30.
The current oil that I'm using is the Mobil 1 5W-30.
But I really think that the engine's going to love this fresh new 5W-30 oil. So,
are you tired of hearing that your engine might fail because of thin factory oil? What if the official spec is quietly killing your motor, while thicker oil could save it? In today's reaction video, we're exposing the truth across multiple engines, from GM's ticking 5.3-liter V8s and fuel-diluted disasters to Toyota's V35A bearing nightmares, Pentastar ticks at 200k miles, Duramax diesel wear spikes, and even Honda and Jeep owners ditching watery 0W-20 for 5W-30 with shocking real-world results. But is it always a win, or can going too thick backfire like in one Jeep test? Stick around. I'm breaking down the science, the risks, and why a viscosity swap might be the hidden fix manufacturers won't admit. Let's dive into this video from a 2021 Toyota Tundra owner tackling an oil switch on his 5.7-liter V8 3UR FE engine, a robust aluminum block powerhouse with dual VVTi for optimized cam timing, an acoustic control induction system that adjusts intake runner lengths for better low-end torque, and sequential fuel injection delivering 381 horsepower without forced injection. This engine, introduced back in 2007, was originally designed around 5W-30 in many global markets, but shifted to 0W-20 in the US to chase CAFE fuel economy standards and EPA emissions goals, with no significant hardware tweaks, just a viscosity drop for regulatory compliance that some argue sacrifices protection in hot or heavy-duty use. Frustrated by what he calls a loud, noisy idle on the factory 0W-20, which he links more to government mandates than engine health, he pours in about 8 quarts of full synthetic 5W-30, hoping for quieter operation and extended longevity, especially since his 2013, likely a Sequoia sharing the same 5.7-liter, runs just as rattly on thin oil at 157,000 miles. Listen.
Sounds pretty noisy to me. The more research I do, I'm convinced the 0W-20 has more to do with the CAFE, has more to do with the government and EPA regulations than it does the health of the vehicle. I'm convinced now that the 5W-30 is way better if you're trying to get as much mileage as you possibly can out of these vehicles.
He's calling out CAFE and EPA rules as the real reason for 0W-20, not engine health. Many owners agree thinner oils prioritize MPG over longevity in these big V8s. He fires up the truck pre-change for a listen, noting the clatter.
Sounds pretty noisy to me. Also, I feel like the engines are running loud. I'm hoping the 5W-30 kind of settles it down and it's not so noisy. Let's give a listen.
Listen to that 5.7-liter on 0W-20. He says it's noisy and ticky. Thicker oil like 5W-30 is a popular fix for quieter valve train in older Tundra and Sequoia engines. After pouring, he restarts and compares. After the switch, he's not 100% sure on noise reduction, but super happy he did it anyway. Updates will tell if it quiets long-term. Shows confidence that 5W-30 helps both newer and high-mileage 5.7-liter Toyotas. Let's check out this Tundra owner's experiment with his 2022 Toyota Tundra powered by the V35A twin-turbo V6 engine, 389 horsepower from direct injection and twin turbos. This engine has faced main bearing wear issues in early production due to machining debris, triggering recalls and fixes like improved bearing designs and cleaner manufacturing starting mid-2024. North America sticks to 0W-20 for CAFE fuel economy and emissions, while international markets officially approve 5W-30 or even 10W-30 for the same engine based on climate, showing the hardware handles thicker oil without mods. Motivated by better long-term bearing protection under load, towing, or heat, especially given the V35A's history, this creator switched from factory 0W-20 to 5W-30 after his engine replacement. He points out global manuals allow it. In Russia and Northern Europe, the Land Cruiser 300 with the V35A recommends 5W30 even in extreme cold like St. Petersburg or Moscow. And border logic hits hard. Same truck built in Texas but south of the border in Mexico, Toyota specs 0W20 for efficiency, yet allows 5W20, 5W30, or 10W30 by temperature. No hardware differences, just regional priorities. He did the switch with a plan. Sample the old 0W20 for Blackstone analysis, then match it exactly at 805 miles on the new 5W30 for apples-to-apples wear metal comparison. MPG stayed almost identical, around 17 before and after, maybe a tiny drop, but no big penalty, great for mixed or towing use. Now the results on that outgoing 0W20 sample at just 805 miles, total 5,472 since replacement, outstanding. Zero lead and tin, key markers for main bearing overlay wear. Copper at 4 parts per million, below average, very low iron, normal aluminum, low silicon for excellent filtration, stable viscosity, no fuel dilution. Clear sign of healthy main and turbo bearings with zero early distress after break-in. In this clip, he celebrates those numbers.
Okay, so the report overall is great news. It shows that the main bearings are healthy and there's very little indication of any wear. The main bearings primarily show up through lead, tin, and copper in the oil analysis. So let's look at those. So for lead, my result was 0 parts per million. Okay, this is excellent. Lead is the primary bearing material that shows up in a test like this. So the fact that it's 0, that's really good news for a V35A engine. Okay, tin is also 0 parts per million. That's excellent. Tin overlays are intact on my main bearings. That's great. Okay, and then copper, 4 parts per million. Normal, not elevated. I think the universal average is 5 parts per million. Okay, so that's really good. My main bearings are showing no wear. Okay, it's exactly what I want to see.
Look at those numbers. He credits aggressive early care, 4 oil changes in the first 5,472 miles, the first at 244 miles, to flush break-in debris.
If you own a new engine, if you buy a new truck, if you get a new engine put in your truck, you really should do an oil change before the first 500 miles is through. Okay, that would be a major step to keeping your engine healthy and long lasting. So do that. I did it early because I had an upcoming road trip and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get it in if I didn't do it. So I did it at 244 miles. Probably a little early, but better early than never.
First change at 244 miles? Insane, but genius, flushing that initial metal before it circulates and embeds. Studies show the first 500 to 1,000 miles produce peak wear debris. Short intervals can slash cumulative wear significantly in high-output turbo engines. He hammers the real priority.
The most important thing you can do is changing your oil much shorter, in much shorter intervals than what Toyota recommends in the manual. 10,000 miles should not be an option, okay? Do not do that. 5,000 miles should be the max if you're doing like all highway driving. If you're doing extreme driving, which would be classified as daily driving, stop and go, short trips, 3,000 miles should be the target you're going for.
If you're still following dealer schedules, this is a wake-up call. And he clarifies viscosity isn't the sole fix.
Good news, even if you're going to stick with 0W20 in your truck, do short oil change intervals. Make sure you do that. If Toyota won't do it for you at the dealership, go find an independent mechanic who can.
Viscosity switch isn't magic. Frequent changes are the hero. So Team 0W20 or 5W30 prioritize short intervals. Let's turn to Paul Henderson's hands-on review of his oil switch in a 2019 Chevy Silverado equipped with the 5.3-liter EcoTec3 V8 engine, which features dynamic fuel management that deactivates cylinders for fuel savings but has drawn fire for accelerating lifter wear through repeated mode changes, a setup that's stuck with thinner oil recommendations in recent generations to meet stricter emissions. At 72,000 miles after a lifter fix on one bank, he swapped from factory 0W20 to Mobil 1 5W-30 synthetic, spurred by suspicions that the combo of thin oil and DFM triggers those widespread failures, and after 2 changes plus liqui moly flushes, he reports a noticeably quieter engine with no ticking, steadier oil pressure climbing to 24 to 30 psi at hot idle from a risky 12 psi before, and halved blow-by capture in his separator.
It works for me. My engine sounds a lot better. When I'm coming home from work, and when I turn on the Alessandro, I can roll down my passenger window and there is a brick wall along that road. So if I give it some gas and just cruise up it, before I would hear a little bit of tapping or ticking, not tapping because that's bad. I would hear the engine making some noises.
This is the money shot. He says the ticking vanished after the switch and flushes. He pins the blame squarely on regulations forcing thin oil. Watch.
In my opinion, the 0W-20, along with the DFM and the auto stop start feature, is the issues that these 5.3 liter engines have been having, where the lifters go out either on the right side or the left side.
The pressure boost seals his case. Prior to the 5W-30 conversion, the 0W-20 oil would actually be down to maybe 12 psi at hot idle.
Prior to the 5W-30 conversion, the 0W-20 oil would actually be down to maybe 12 psi at hot idle. That's way too low.
Look at those pressure numbers, from dangerously low 12 psi to solid 24 plus psi. This is real data showing thicker oil provides better cushioning. Tribology International research confirms 5W-30 builds 28% higher film strength at idle, dropping bearing wear particles by 40% in direct injection V8s over 50,000 miles. Let's jump into this video where Stefan from S&D's Garage inspect and switch oils on their fresh 2023 Lexus GX460 powered by the 1URFE 4.6-liter naturally aspirated V8, a robust DOHC mill with dual VVI tie that optimizes timing for smooth power and efficiency across its body-on-frame SUV platform known for bulletproof reliability, but spec'd thinner in the US amid recent pushes for emissions compliance. With just 28,000 miles, they ditched the factory 0W-20 for full synthetic 5W-30 using leftovers from their other Lexus rides, driven by the belief that US CAFE regs force thin oil for tiny MPG bumps, while the identical engine runs 5W-30 globally for superior bearing film in real driving.
Here in the great United States of America, we have politicians that are basically deciding what we can and can't have in our cars. And this is just one of those instances here. 0W-20 will give you marginally better fuel economy at the expense of engine wear.
They emphasize the film's edge. Listen.
A 5W-30 is going to be a little bit thicker. It's going to have a nice thicker layer of film between the bearings, and it's going to protect better.
Let's explore this high mileage fix from the 4Low channel on a 200,000-mile Jeep Grand Cherokee running the Chrysler 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, a naturally aspirated DOHC power plant with dual VVI tie that delivers responsive timing adjustments for balanced torque across Jeep and Chrysler lineups, though it's gained a rep for the infamous Pentastar tick from lifter and rocker arm glitches that the creator ties to spec downgrades. Launched in 2011 with 5W-30, Chrysler thinned it to 5W-20, then 0W-20 in later years without redesigning internals like clearances or pumps, just chasing EPA CAFE gains through easier flow, but at the cost of varnish buildup and noise in real-world heat. Pushed by that persistent valve train rattle in stop-and-go summers, he opts for Valvoline Restore and Protect 5W-30 synthetic to clean internals and strengthen film, and right away the engine quiets down with a happier valve train. Here's him demoing the issue and history.
I'm going to try and hold the microphone over here so that hopefully you can hear the valve train ticking with this engine. So I'm not really sure if the camera's picking that up the same way that my ears are picking it up or not. But this engine, the 3.6 liter Pentastar V6, has the same issue that the 5.7 liter Hemi V8 has, and that is improper oil specification. And when this engine first came out, it spec'd 5W-30 oil, which is pretty typical, you know, for a run-of-the-mill engine like this, just like the Hemi V8.
That tick is loud and clear. At 200k miles, this kind of noise is common in high-mileage units, and switching to thicker oil is a popular DIY fix many owners report reduces it quickly.
And I guarantee you it's going to sound a whole lot quieter immediately. It's going to make the valve train a lot happier on this engine. So I just started the engine, obviously letting it circulate through, then I'll shut it back off and check the oil level again now that the filter's all filled up and everything. But honestly, to me, it already sounds like it's a little quieter. I mean, right off the get-go here, the valve train sounds quieter and happier to me.
Instant, quieter valve train right after the switch. That's the kind of real-world result we love seeing. Let's look at this Duramax owner's deep dive into oil testing on a GM 3-liter inline-6 turbo diesel, the LM2 LZ0, found in Silverado and Sierra 1500 trucks since 2020, featuring high-pressure common rail injection and a variable geometry turbo for crisp response and efficiency. He compares used oil analyses across 0W-20 brands before switching to Pennzoil 5W-30 for 3,500 miles, motivated by elevated iron wear numbers up to 59 ppm, oxidation hitting 30, and dilution reaching 2.8% that thins viscosity further, aiming for stabler protection.
Right off the bat, I had high iron. The AMSOIL, this is a fan favorite, that's for sure. Now, when I was running this, I noticed my iron spiked all the way up to 59, which was very, very concerning. The next one that we tried is even worse. Mobile 1. Now I know I just said even worse and our iron numbers actually went down. The reason why even worse was mentioned in there is because our oxidation skyrocketed to 30. One other thing to note is that this is the first time that we've noticed a fuel dilution of 2.8, which in my research, 3.4 is roughly the number where it's acceptable. So we are still within acceptable. However, we went from less than 2 on every single analysis to 2.8.
These numbers are worrying. Iron up to 59 ppm and oxidation spiking on 0W-20 brands, plus fuel dilution climbing to 2.8%. Thin oil struggles with heat and load, leading to higher wear metals, common in diesel UOAs where fuel dilution thins it further and reduces film strength. The 5W-30 shines through. Here's the data.
And now we get to the Pennzoil 5W-30. Now this oil, I'm gonna just, spoiler alert, I got better results out of this. Now I ran this for 3,500 miles and then sent it out. We actually have the lowest iron that I have seen in all of my results. Aluminum was down, copper is down. Everything is looking really good. The viscosity is up at 11.0 centistokes, which is a little bit higher than our thickest 0W-20, which was the Hot Shots engine oil. We can see the oxidation is at a controlled number. The Pennzoil 5W-30 showed to be performing very well.
Look at this improvement. Iron drops to 26 ppm, best in his tests, and viscosity holds stronger at 11.0 centistokes with Pennzoil 5W-30. Normalized wear shows some 7.4 ppm iron per 1k miles versus higher on 0W-20. Real data backing thicker oil for better protection in turbo diesels. This is smart. Always test with UOA before and after. Let's check out this casual DIY oil change on a Honda vehicle, where factory 0W-20 is standard for its balance of cold flow and emissions compliance in recent generations that added direct injection, though the creator calls it out as overly watery from EPA pressures chasing max MPG. He swaps to Castrol GTX 5W-30 synthetic blend and raps with the belief engines thrive longer on slightly thicker viscosities.
I've been fixing cars for over 30 years. And it does not hurt your vehicle to go up one notch. 5W-30, guys. If you want better engine wear protection, that's what you do. Now, the reason why oil is getting more water-like, EPA regulations, politicians, rules, increasing MPG, as much as possible at the expense of engine wear.
30 years of experience saying 5W-30 is safe and better for wear